Welcome to day 95. We're still in Judges 16 through 18, and want to spend a little bit of time talking about sevens today. So there were quite a few mentions of sevens in here, and also about kind of listening to whatever it is you want to hear. So let's get at it. Day 95. We are in Judges 16, verse 7. And so Delilah is caught Samson's eye, and she is nagging him to get her way. So there's two different types of women, basically, that we're seeing in the Bible. And so far, we got women that nag, and women who are prophets or judges that do the example of being something wonderful. So here we have Delilah that is nagging at Samson, saying, "You're making fun of me. Tell us what your secret is to your strength." So Samson, in verse 7, says to Delilah, Samson replied, "If I were tied up with 7 new bowstrings that have not yet been dried, I would become as weak as anyone else." So obviously he's lying to her, and but it's funny that he keeps using the 7 here. Okay, and then in verse 13, she makes fun of him because he didn't tell her. And then Delilah said, "You've been making fun of me and telling me lies. Now tell me how you can be tied up securely." So Samson replied, "If you were to weave the 7 braids of my hair into the fabric on your loom and tighten it with the loom shuttle, I would become as weak as anyone else." So of course that's a lie too. But again, he uses the 7 number there. And then we get another 7 here, and he finally tells her because he can't take it anymore. In verse 19, Delilah lulled Samson to sleep with his head in her lap, and then she called in a man to shave off the 7 locks of his hair. In this way, she began to bring him down, and his strength left him. Okay, so here's what's important here. It's not that he had his hair shaved. He wasn't supposed to cut his hair. The point is, he disobeyed God, and the strength left him. So when he's in captivity and he prays to the Lord, he finally comes back to God. The hair came back. The hair came back while he's in captivity, but it's when he repented and asked God to give him strength again. That's when God gave him the strength. It wasn't that he had his hair. So something to think of in that reading. And then we get to the last thing I want to point out. Chapter 17, verse 6. In those days, Israel had no king. All the people did whatever seemed right in their own eyes. And it's fascinating that Jesus is our one true king. And when we turn our backs on God and act as if he doesn't exist, we do whatever seems right in our own eyes. And that's a horrible thing. So I have some verses here. So I want to go back to Revelation 13:9. This is the time in the 7-year tribulation where the church is no longer here on earth, and it says, anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand. This is being said to everybody. Say, hey, wake up and listen. Stop doing whatever it is you want to do. And so we look at 2 Timothy 4:3. And 2 Timothy 4:3, it says, "For a time is coming when people will no longer listen to sound and wholesome teaching. They will follow their own desires and will look for teachers who will tell them whatever their itching ears want to hear. They will reject the truth and chase after myths." So when you turn your back on God and act as if he doesn't exist and teach your children the same thing, it's in us to search for the truth. But if there is nobody telling you the truth, you search for whatever it is that makes you happy. And that's what this is talking about. All right, and then the last thing I want to point out is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 9 and 10. So this man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit power and signs and miracles, talking about the Antichrist. He will use every kind of evil deception to fool those on their way to destruction, because they refuse to love and accept the truth that would save them. I mean, think how hard it is today to talk to somebody about just normal truths. We're not talking about Jesus Christ, just normal truths. And they look at us like we're crazy. Something to think about on this day. especially when the things that are happening. So, day 95. I'll see you tomorrow.